Good 2:26 in the afternoon, everybody. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you guys the ace match in this best of 3 series between MouzMana, the green Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner, and dSelecT, the red Terran in the top right-hand corner on the map. GSL Entombed Valley, I thought it said. Now, just on the replay, I'm not sure if this is indeed a GSL Entombed Valley. I'm not sure if GSL even uses the Entombed Valley, but I can tell you it does have a supply depot here at the ramp, which it does again prevent any walling in with bunkers and pylons and cannons shenanigans, which is commonplace, or was commonplace for a period against Zerg. And then we have, of course, the small choke leads down to your natural, which has a much larger ramp, can be walled off for sure, but a little bit difficult, takes a few buildings. You have a third, which is freely accessible via this ramp and does not have rocks blocking it, but it does have rocks separating you from those. So this is mostly something, sorry I didn't have the production tab open, but so far all they've made are a pylon and a supply depot, but that mostly comes into play in games with Zergs in them, simply because of the fact my screen is so dark I can't actually even see where it is. There it is. It mostly comes into play in games with a Zerg in them, simply because Zergs will often get that very fast third expansion, particularly against a Protoss, and then they can't get to this very easily. So say the Protoss chooses to go for an attack and can force field this ramp, the Zerg's going to lose his third no matter what. So it just makes you be a little more careful, and then of course it makes for a little more positional jockeying, I guess you would say, when there are engagements happening between the natural and third or similar. And of course, if someone is attacking your third, you don't want to just run in through this choke lest you die, etc., etc. So, what play are we going to see coming from these guys? It looks like dSelecT might be going for that same build, that one racks expand. It would not be surprising at all, as it is one of the most standard things in the world. It is almost as standard as Reactor Hellion versus a Zerg, which, if you don't know, is what is done almost every single game, I would say, or at least a very high percentage of them. Let's just go with that here. So yep, there we go. He does have 400 minerals. In just a second we will have to see, is he going to build it? Yes, he does mine 5 minerals from right there, being a little efficient with that worker, and there we go. There goes that expansion. Now, will Mana go for the same build as last game? In game 1, I do not remember what builds they went for because I casted it about a week ago, so I couldn't tell you exactly what they did, but you guys should go watch it so you do know what they did. In game 2, we did see a 1 racks expand from dSelecT and a 1 gate expand from Mana. Mana did end up winning or losing that game. You have to go watch both to see who won which. We are in an ace match now, so obviously one of them, each one won. You guys need to go see how those games went, though. So we'll have to see from Mana, is he going to throw up that expansion very soon? He's got about 300 minerals. I'm just, I guess, reiterating where that expansion will be. It'll be right there, and there is the expansion. Indeed, it does go down, and dSelecT throwing up this bunker just for that little bit of extra defense versus the Stalker, which is, of course, coming, and the Zealot starting to work on the supply depot. Not 100% sure why he wants to kill that depot, but he might want to put a pylon there, a building there, who knows. And I would not be surprised to see him maybe start working on those rocks. Of course, this Stalker is immediately going to see, okay, I can push into that base right there. Looks like he is going to manage to kill this SCV, but not before it does see the expansion. So both players totally aware of exactly what is going on, simply because if you are dSelecT, you don't really build a bunker there if you don't have a command center right there. So Mana immediately knows he has an expansion, and of course, dSelecT knows as well. He just scouted it. We do have a small contingency of Marines pushing out here. We've got 5 of them trying to get control of the Zelnaga Tower, and here's what I was talking about last game with the Stalker kiting the Marines a little bit. We see it did not take any damage that will not regenerate in shields, so he did manage to get a few good shots off there, but looks like he is going to be actually pushing out now. Warp Gate is just finishing up. Ooh, he does lose the Stalker though, because he could not see past this, but the Marines could. dSelecT totally catching that off guard, and because losing 1 Stalker when your push consists of 4 units and only 1 Stalker is a big deal, Mana will immediately pull back, simply sending out the probe potentially for some scouting, but it may even get picked off by these Marines right here, and it looks like it will get picked off by the Marines. dSelecT is possibly going to get it, and he does. dSelecT with the amazing Marine control in this game so far. We see he is ahead by 225 in the units lost tab, meaning he has lost 225 less minerals, and of course 225 isn't a game ending for mana, but early in the game at such a professional level, in time it's a game of seconds. In minerals it's a game of minerals by only a few. And so that 225, you know, could make a difference. That's one less gateway he may need to defend a push. That's two less zealots that he may need to defend a push. And we see dSelecT going for his favorite kind of play, that is bio play, getting those upgrades, throwing down extra barracks, and of course lots of bunkers and a cute little wall here with supply depots as well. You would have to worry about a Baneling bust, but this game doesn't have Banelings in it because there's not a Zerg. Throwing down the factory, and of course that is no doubt most likely so he can get that starport and start with the medevac production. He's not going to be going siege tanks or Thors most likely, because neither is particularly wonderful against Protoss, mostly because of the Immortal. And we do see actually Mana opting to go for the +1 armor right here. I'm not sure if there is a reason for this, but I'm not sure what the reason for this may be, but I'm sure he does have a very specific one. Not sure if you guys can hear that thunder in the background coming through my window. I guess it is going to storm soon. And Mana getting this very quick robotics bay again, or at least I feel like it's quick, but I'm not actually sure what a standard timing versus Terran would be. It's probably about a standard timing, simply because you need to start getting those Colossi out, and then later on in the game you start getting the Archons, the High Templar with the Psy Storm, all that fun stuff. And we do have Mana with 2 gateways sitting here that have not yet been made into warp gates, but he does have 5 gates. He is going to go ahead and throw down this Nexus again. Yep, there they go. He is making these. So taking a look at the dSelecT side of things, because we were just spending a while seeing everything Mana was doing. So it looks like dSelecT also gearing up to possibly grab a third. He's going to be breaking down those rocks. But right now, it looks like he will probably do what he might have, or he will probably do what he did last game, which is he will expand, but he actually might like to go for that drop play as he expands. He could drop at the third and at the main, maybe over here, but Mana doing a very good job with this Colossus, which actually, I'm not sure if it was on purpose, but I would say its positioning is very good. Can handle drops all around the natural, handle drops over here by the production, which, speaking of Artosis pylons, this is one of the worst ones I've seen. He would lose upgrades, Colossi, as well as 3 gateways if he did lose that. So we do see dSelecT pushing out to the center of the map. There is an obs coming, so Mana does know what's up. He does know that there are units in the center, and dSelecT immediately sniping that. Good job from him, good vision, actually noticing that is indeed there. But for now, his army did get spotted, his map presence is known, and of course, as he has control of the map, he is going to be throwing down that expansion. And again, this is a kind of a staple idea of RTS games. While they're contained in their base, while you have control of the map, you can expand, because you will know if they're going to come attack you, something like that. So it looks like we actually are going to have a drop play. They are rallied over here and all the way back around. Looks like they are going to be dropping in the third, but Mana has a hunch that this might be coming. It is coming up the front as well, but between all of these stalkers, wow, as well as these sentries and Colossi, this push at the front should not do too much damage. The only problem is if it does distract Mana from what is going on back here, but he is sending stalkers back. Very smart play from Mana, sending these units in the front, because he knows those can control a ramp, and these will shut down any drop that could be occurring. So we're going to see that stuff happening in just a second. Back in the base of dSelecT, we do have the +1 armor as well for him, about to finish up here. And we will have to see what does he start after that. He does not have an armory on the way, so chances are it will just be the +1 attack, or at least when he can afford it. Actually, he already got +1 attack, so he does have 1-1 as opposed to the 1-0-0 of the Protoss player. Looks like he is going to try to go for a drop here, but he does not drop a single unit. Almost loses medevac, but keeps them both alive, so that is very good for him. And his factory placement, just making sure he does know if the Protoss army is up here, which of course does benefit him. I guess that there's probably a probe over there which did scout the base. He does know the timing, and so both players macroing very well, almost totally equal in their supply counts. We can see both players with consistently less than 500 minerals and gas. Of course, when you play at a professional level, if your minerals are not consistently less than 100 in the mid game or particularly, of course, the early game, then you can suffer substantially simply because you won't have as many units, anything like that. And once again, like clockwork, Mana doing a very good job with all his timings, getting those Twilight Counts or Templar Archives, as well as that Psionic Storm, which is, of course, kind of the next step in deadly tech against bio players. And of course, if they are dodged, that can do a lot of damage, and Select does have Vikings on the field already, so he has a fair number to deal with that Colossi count. There are currently 4 on the field. He's got about 4 Vikings. He probably wants to get about 8, just because that will allow him to kill the Colossi quick enough, or 6 to 8 quick enough, so that they do not do substantial damage to his army and turn the tide of the battle in the favor of Mana. So sorry about my little bit of stuttering and mispronunciation here, guys. That last game, very long, made me pretty tired. Throat's a little sore, I guess, and my mouth is also very dry. Water would be very appreciated, but I will have some water as soon as this game is over. I just want to see who will win this game. There's still not been many units lost at all. Combined, less than 2,000 resources worth. Both players, wow, actually nearing max. We are at the 15-minute mark, so very impressive from both players. Both love this huge macro, but Select is looking to go for a drop, and while he does not have any units in position, Mana does not. He does have 3 cannons, which actually could definitely pick off these medevacs fairly quickly. And I'm trying to watch, but it does not look like there's really anything at all going on the map right there. Folon left the game, so clearly he was satisfied with the outcome that is this game so far. And do we have any other upgrades? Yes, we have the 2-2 on the way from Select, as well as 2-2 on the way from Mana. So Mana doing a very good job, again, keeping up with his upgrades, doing his best to keep up with the Terran, but of course he should be ahead, and looks like he is. He does have the +2 done, and this one is going to finish before Selects. He does have the Chrono Boost as well as that double forge, but he does have to be careful because, yes, here we go. The drop does look like it might come right here, but the cannon doing a fair amount of damage. He is actually going to lose that medevac, or he's almost going to lose that medevac. One does go down. The others do get a nice choke right here, but at the same time, units coming in here, seeing if they can snipe that Nexus, but it looks like no, they will not be able to. This drop is going to do a fair amount of damage, kill a good number of units, but in reality, it's not actually going to kill that much. Actually, that Zealot going beast mode right there, killing all of those units. There is 1 Marauder left here, but we do just see it fall totally in half right there to the side blades of the Zealots. They are oh so deadly, particularly with the +2, 10 damage, an attack ×2 every 1.2 seconds, and I'm sure he has charge as well, does he? Yes, he does. It looks like Mana is going to be going in for a push relatively soon. He knows he has a base up, and he wants to try and keep those close, and of course, Select did go for the drops, and Mana dealt with those very cost effectively without losing too much. Here comes the battle. Stalker's in front at first, blinking them back. Very good control right there, picking off a free Viking, and there's actually a huge Colossi count getting some okay force fields off, but does not catch quite enough units. But the storms going down right there did so much damage, and Mana is currently ahead by about 50 supply. Looks like all these Vikings going down, the Marauders going down, and Mana is should probably just push straight up into the base. He has no threat of drops coming. He dealt with that earlier. He does not have a pylon to help him reinforce, but he does have a bunch of guys running across the map. He's going to be pushing up here into the 3rd, and watch how fast all of these workers die. We take a look at the workers lost. Killed count. Select only killed 4 this whole game. Mana has killed 12 now. He's going to be killing many more very soon. And I'm actually not sure if Select can come back from this. We see he has a fairly substantial Marine Marauder force with a good number of medevacs here, constantly making more. But if he doesn't micro like crazy, getting into that bunker very well, but it looks like he is going to have to constantly try and micro back. A lot of units have gone down. A big storm going off on Select's units right there. He does not pull them back. SCVs being pulled off the line, but the Zealots are still alive, as well as this Archon. The Archon is up to 10 kills, and it looks like Select, despite a good concave, there's a GG from him. Storm killing a lot of units. It looks like Colossi 12, 15, 12 kills. The Archon finishes with 11. High Templars have 0 and 0, but they did a lot of damage. So really, my perspective on that game was really, last game, Select managed to do a lot of damage to Mana via drops and some harassment. This game, he killed 4 workers the entire game. He did not snipe any bases, anything like that. And you can see it reflected in the units lost tab. When it came down to that engagement, Mana just was too cost effective, had too good tech, and didn't take enough economic damage earlier. So he was just going strong. He lost 10,000 less resources than his opponent, and has just forced a GG out of him. Select could not get back up to supply quickly enough. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this series. I'll be bringing you more soon. Like me, subscribe to me, all that fun stuff, and have a wonderful afternoon.